Hey there, it is Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
There he is, always looking good. The doctor is in the house. Dr. Gary Layne, Functional Christianity. Doc, how are you?
Good morning. I am great. Thanks for let me be with you guys today. I'm doing well.
Rick, you forgot to say, always putting the fun in functional Christianity. It's Dr. Gary Layne.
We've had more fun with Dr. Gary Layne over how many years now? It's probably been a good 3-4 years. I remember when he came back in the day and when we used to go into the studio.
Yep.
Way back in the day.
Yeah. Always had a
when
great
the green room was a closet.
Well, you're not supposed to tell people that. Now they know.
I'm sorry.
We spend money on other things, Doc.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome. It's good to see you. We understand. We're going to talk about this in a minute. You're on your way to Greece for September and got really some exciting things going on. Dan and I are very envious of you because you're going to be able to see not only minister to so many people that need ministry, but to see some sites that we only read about in the scripture. You were talking earlier about Ephesus. And did you mention Mars Hill or no? You didn't.
So Mars Hill is right outside of the Areopagus and the Parthenon.
Yeah.
So that area is in Athens, and of course, if you read Acts chapter 17, Paul got dropped off in Athens, and while he was waiting for the boys to show up, he was walking around looking at all the different gods that they served there and found a statue to the unknown God.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got to go up on Mars Hill there and win the Areopagus, which just means open market area, and was able to preach to them the unknown God. Yeah.
That's cool.
Athens. And then we'll be staying on the Greek island of Samos, which I'm sure Paul hit one of those times. It's the birthplace of Pythagoras, which every high schooler knows Pythagoras.
Yeah,
the A squared, B squared, C squared.
Yeah, I skipped over that because it had to do with geometry, and I hated geometry, so
Yeah, something about that. And then Ephesus is about 1 hour by a ferry ride. So we're going to be able to take a day trip to Ephesus and get to see where Paul ministered for 18 months or so. So, I mean, what an amazing spiritual high for me to be able to get to go do that with Allison.
Do you have room in your suitcase for one or both of us, Gary? Because I really would love to go.
It's fascinating. We bought 2 extra suitcases and we have filled those already. They're already filled with supplies for the refugees. So we have 100 pounds, 2 50-pound bags.
Wow.
And we're just praying that they stay under the, 23 kilo, 50-pound weight limit. And then we got to haul those all the way to the island. So we're
How cool is that?
Don't have room. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now, you've been to Israel before, right? Yes or no? I know you want to go, but you've been before.
Yes. No, I've been there. Yep. Been to Israel and the West Bank in the Palestinian side of Israel. So don't tell anybody. It's not.
Now, from what Dan and I understand through folks that have gone many times, you pretty much know because it's labeled, right? This is where Jesus was born, maybe. This is where Jesus died, possibly. This, Sea of Galilee,
Via Dolorosa and all that.
Yeah. Is it the same way for a place like in Ephesus and where Mars Hill is? Is it a tourist attraction in the sense of that, Paul was here, or do you have to figure that out by a map or what?
So in the Christian world, it's figured out. In the non-Christian world, it's mostly about this is the palace. There was many gods in those days. Of course, the Greeks had many gods. The Romans had many gods. And so they had their own temples. So most of it from the cultural side is non-religious. But if you know anything about your Bible, Paul was in Athens, Paul was in Ephesus.
Yeah.
And so you can put together where that was. I'll let you know if I find a placard. Paul spoke here,
Yeah.
I'll let you know if I see a plaque.
Yeah. Take pictures. I know you'll take pictures probably on your iPhone. But yeah. Send us some. Would love
I'll definitely
to see
do that. Yeah. It's going to be fascinating. I'll let you know.
Okay.
And then we'll put a trip together in the future for a bunch of Christians. We'll all go together.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That would be cool. Really. Yep. Seriously. When I text you this morning about, hey, what specifically do you want to talk about? You wanted to talk about your trip, And you mentioned here we're heading to the Greek island of do you say Samos?
Samos, correct.
To work with refugees. 90% are Muslim, but they are seeking the truth. Aren't we hearing that all over, right?
Yeah, I think in America we're sort of saturated with 47 different copies of the Bible, and you can get it on the internet, and you can get this version, that version, you can get it, podcast of the day, song of the day, and so we're kind of saturated, or maybe we're just so, I don't know, we're not affected by it. But in the rest of the world, especially in the refugee world, they are desperate and hungry for truth, and it's from what I'm talking about. I'll know more when I get back, but from talking with my friend missionaries that have invited me to come to speak and teach and to minister, that there's almost like this movement where Muslim refugees are finding out that the Muslim faith isn't, they're not real kind and gentle. And so they're, being kicked out of their own countries for persecution, for not following to the letter of their laws. And so that's why they become refugees. And so they're seeking some answers, and they're seeking truth. And of course, we know the answers in Jesus Christ. So they need physical help, and they need emotional help, and they need spiritual help. So it's really a fascinating combination of body, soul, and spirit all needs ministering to. They have physical needs. They need a place to sleep, and they need a meal, clothing, and they have mental things. They've gone through, they've had their villages bombed. They've had their family members die. They've had their houses bombed out. So they've had the emotional strain and stress of that. And then they just need to know that there is a God who cares and loves for them, because otherwise this world is useless.
Yeah.
And how appropriate that the place you're going is like you mentioned with the Areopagus, where it had the unknown God, that they are worshiping, to them really kind of an unknown God, but you can tell them about the one true God.
Yeah, it's going to be so, like, I don't know. It's going to be super challenging, because I don't want to come across as, that your way is wrong and my way is right.
Right.
But I want to be able to share with them the love that God has for them, and that while they may have not known him before, he is knowable, and he cares about them. So yeah, the island of Samos is about an hour plane ride south of Athens, and then it's about 2 miles from the Turkish coastline. So the refugees are trying to swim and boat across to get into Greece, and that's how they're trying to escape. They've escaped their country, their Afghanistan, or their different places, and they've been pushed into the northwest corner of Turkey, and now they're trying to get across to the Greek islands to get into a refugee camp.
Wow.
Dr. Gary Layne, Functional Christianity, we're talking about his trip coming up in September. So you'll be gone all of September. Hopefully when you get back, you'll be on the show. We'd like to catch up and see what's going on.
Bring your photo album and go through all the photos, like we used to do back in the day.
Yeah, skip that one.
We could do, if you film some stuff on your phone, maybe some short clips or stuff.
Yeah,
we can show those while we're on the show. You can do that through StreamYard.
And I think they actually have internet there, so maybe we could do a live remote.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. Yeah,
I'll figure that out once I'm on the ground. Once I'm acclimated to what's going on, we'll do a live remote.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Do you find, since you've not been there before, but do you find that because it's a refugee camp and those that have been converted to Christianity, to Christ, to follow Jesus, I would assume, and I'm stepping out, that community, the Christian community in that area, then would take them in where they have basically been abandoned or dismissed of sorts.
Yeah. So again, the missionaries I'm working with from waymakerinternational.org, you can find out so much more about at waymakerinternational.org. They actually have been given a building, and they're trying to meet the needs as much as they can, but they're just being overwhelmed. So they started out having maybe 25 or 30 refugees come out of the refugee camp for a meal and some, assistance, and maybe just to talk and tell their story. And now they're in the hundreds, and it's like, we don't have room for all these people. So they've increased how many meals a day they're serving, and so the Christian community is there. I've met some E3 people that are working there. Unfortunately, there's some other groups that are there that are sort of confusing people about Jesus, and everybody has their idea of how Jesus is supposed to work, and so they have some confusing or conflicting, and they group all of us together as Christian. They don't know the subtlety of one denomination over another, so they get a little confused. And so we're just praying that they don't get confused, that the enemy won't try to come in and steal that seed that's been planted, that it won't get trampled over or overgrown with thorns, with I don't know, silly theology and stories of man.
Wow.
Talking to Dr. Gary Layne. We did have a, did you see that, Dan?
Yeah, it's from Brad Matheson. He said, so Brad from Greece. Yes, we can use StreamYard. It works great from the Hope House. We've talked to Brad. I know that name. We've talked to him before.
Name sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
So
he may be
not as familiar with me, but that's where I'm going. He's going to be there. He's our host. He's our covering. And so we're putting the final bits together right now.
Wow.
I think he's the president of the Rick and Dan fan club in that area, so it could be that's where
that's probably it, because we get reports from our fan clubs all over the world.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and now the Greeks are stepping up.
Yes, yeah.
So,
and here I thought Greece was just a musical, and it's actually an actual country. Just kidding. I knew
it has
its
own country. Yes.
Yeah.
See, you'd expect some. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say we're gonna look forward to eating Greek salads, but that's not what they call them in Greece. They just call them salad.
Salad, yeah.
That's funny. See, you'd expect something like that from me, but not from Dan. See that Greece remark.
Well,
there.
the kid, the guy that's got a kid.
Right. So we got a couple of seconds here, but to be completely carnal, I would be excited too about the food. Is there something that you're planning to eat, and probably not Greek gyros, right?
Don't call them gyros over there.
Oh my gosh. So anytime I travel in Europe, I love the food. Allison is actually going to be in charge of the cool restaurants. Okay. And she's got some lined up for us to try to hit in Athens for the day we're there. And then on the island of Samos, yeah, they have great food. I'm sure because it's an island, there's going to be a lot of great seafood. I'm looking forward to try to catch a fish. And then, of course, the olives. Greek tomatoes are amazing. So anything you eat with a Greek tomato in is great. Obviously, because they have olives in that region, they have great olive oil.
Yeah.
So feta cheese is huge there. So they have, but they also have Lidl. So I'm good to go.
Yeah, get some hummus. Wow. Isn't that a Greek thing as well, or at least that area maybe?
Yeah.
We'll more to follow. I'll let you know. We'll do a live remote from a Greek restaurant or something.
Yes, love it.
I know we were joking about this, but wouldn't it be cool to go with him next year? That'd be so cool.
Yes, it would be. Even if we have to get in one of those 50-pound suitcases and lose a lot of weight so we can stay in there.
I've gained a little weight from COVID, so I'd have to lose a little weight. I'd have to fit into a 50-pound. Yeah. Hey, Gary, we got to go. We got to take a break. We appreciate, of course, you because we love you to pieces. Have known you, and we know your heart. It's so pure, and you and Allison have a great time. Minister to those folks like you always do, and blessings to you and the refugees and Waymaker folks as well. WaymakerInternational.org if you'd like to help out. Also, FunctionalChristianity.com. if you'd like to help out there. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.